It's a beautiful Friday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Dablola Okushaki. Let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies and starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with patients groan as doctor strike enters day two. Exodus eats government hospitals as private hospitals record brick businesses. You can see that story on page 13. And here we have a photo story showing the Minister for Women Affairs, Polynesian, Chief of Staff to President Buhari, Professor Ibrahim. And we also have Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, of President Buhari, Director General of NYSC, Brigadier General YD Ahmed, and other dignitaries after conferment of NYSC honors award to 52 former core members as event celebrating the 50th anniversary of the NYSC in State House yesterday. 10th National Assembly inauguration, opposition parties worry over bid to alter rules. To allow President APC chair witness reps voting pattern, opposition parties join forces with Abbas. Why I chose Abbas over Tara Gadgi, other speakership aspirant that's coming from Baja. Regrets stalling Tambuwa as speaker in 2015. Rebellion against APC will not stand. That's coming from Abbas. You can see that on page 5. On page 9, Montgomery appointed new British High Commissioner in Nigeria. And on sport, FIFA helped Messi, Argentina win 2022 World Cup. On page 7, Seun Kuti, court extends detention by 4 days. Bawa must quit now, CSOs tell federal government. Stories above, United States convoy attacks. Police arrest the 2 suspects. Gunmen kidnap core members returning from camp in Rivers. And then PCL clears a $3.8 billion JEV cash call indebtedness. Media play crucial role to avert crisis wars. That's coming from Sultan, Christian Association of Nigeria, and SGF. Lastly, on Vanguard, port congestion looms over suspension of banks' import duty collection. That can be seen on page 19 of Vanguard newspaper. Now let's move to the Nation. Nation is leading with National Assembly governors will back Akpabio. Abbas says stories above. We have spent 200 billion naira on postponed census, says NPC. Autumn named street after 1990 core plotter. You can see that on page 32. And here we have transition councils roll out Tinubu Shetima inauguration program. Lastly on the Nation, Matawale under probe for 70 billion naira contract, says EFCC. And let's move to the Guardian. Guardian is leading with ministers call serve 100% on failed carrier. MRO airport concessions. You can see that on pages 4 and 5. PEPC, INEC, Tinubu, APC kick against Atiku's request for live telecast of proceedings. You can see that story on page 3. Cash crunch cuts telecoms growth as operators lose 1.02 million subscribers. Failed Ijora Bridge. Residents blame shoddy job, lack of supervision. CSOs demand Bawa's exit over corruption allegations by Matawale. You can see that on page 29. And lastly, on The Guardian, we have Nigeria hopeful of $32.5 billion oil project as NNPC eyes 1.8 MBD in July. That can be seen on page 6. And let's move to the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with Tinubu's inauguration. Programs begin Thursday. Federal government invites 65 world leaders. Stay away from inauguration venue if you don't have business there. That's coming from SGF. Buhari hands over transition documents to incoming president Thursday. You can see that on page 2. And then we have a photo story with a writer that says NYSC at 50. Buhari grants 65x core automatic employment and scholarship. That can be seen on page 2. 2 held over United States consular officials killing. Matawale diverted 70 billion naira from 100 firms, EFCC alleges. Osun workers protest as Adeleke begins payroll audit. You can see these stories on pages 7 and 12 of the Punch newspaper. Stories above, live broadcast threats to tribunal judges' lives. This coming from Tinubu's lawyer. Federal allocation drops again as federal government state shares 655 billion naira. That can be seen on page 17. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, NNPCL begins crude supply to Dangote refinery next week. That can be seen on page 28 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Let's move straight to the stories on the dailies this morning. The 5-day warning strike embarked upon by the National Association of Resident Doctors (NAD) entered the second day today as patients expressed frustration over their inability to receive treatment in public hospitals. The situation was particularly worse in public hospitals in Nasarawa State and Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Abuja, where patients were abandoned by the striking doctors. The situation was not different in public hospitals in other parts of the country, from the east, west to the north. The strike caused exodus of patients to private hospitals, which are currently making bricks businesses, though at high cost to patients. Relatives and friends of patients on admission were seen evacuating their loved ones to private hospitals in their states. Recall that the resident doctors had last Wednesday declared a 5-day warning strike following the federal government's inabilities to address their demands. Issues that necessitated the strike, according to the resident doctors, include poor infrastructure, manpower shortage in the health sector, non-payment of medical residency training fund, non-increment of the consolidated medical salary structure, as well as failure of state governments across the country to pay salary arrears of doctors. When the Vanguard correspondent visited the Nasarawa state government-owned the Hatu Haraf Specialist Hospital in Lafia, it was observed that no resident doctor, especially those on call, was seen at duty post. Some major units of the hospital, such as out of patient, casualty, and maternity, which used to record a large number of patients, were under lock, leaving patients unattended to. Chairman of NAD in the state, Dr. Yakubu Adeleke Ademola, who was seen going round in the hospital in company of other officials to ensure resident doctors stayed away from the facility, said they had no other option than to comply with the directives on the strike. Similarly, Mrs. Alima Tanko, who called for an immediate end to the strike, expressed worry that the lives of her twin babies born few days ago were in danger. In an interview, a patient, Baba Azan Audu, 80, said he was in the hospital to assess treatment this morning, but was asked to go back or find alternative. So definitely this strike is affecting the patients and the hospitals, and we hope the federal government will be able to address the issues with the doctors so that activities can return in the hospitals. Now let's move on and talk about the 10th National Assembly. And ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, there are strong indications that the clerk of the National Assembly might affect some minor changes to the conventional rules of the legislature. Vanguard was reliably informed that the move to break the rules on the inauguration day is to allow the incoming president and chairman of the All Progressive Congress (APC) to witness the voting pattern of the assembly, especially that of the House of Representatives. The zoning of principal officers for the 10th National Assembly by the APC's National Working Committee (NWC) is causing a stir as some aspirants are vowed to challenge the decision. The APC had zoned the Senate presidency to the South-South and the Speaker of the House of Representatives to the Northwest. It announced Senator Godswill Akpabio as its consensus candidate for Senate President and Senator Jubril as the next Deputy Senate President in the 10th Assembly. Similarly, the party zoned the speakership of the House of Representatives to a Kaduna lawmaker, Tajuddin Abbas, while Ben Kalu from the Southeast claims the Deputy Speaker slot. NASS clerk may amend rules on inauguration day, and of course, a source familiar with the workings of the National Assembly confirmed the move to Vanguard. He said they received strong evidence regarding information that the clerk may have directed to pave the way for the newly sworn-in president as well as the national leadership of the APC to be physically present on the inauguration day. Another source who was in attendance at the meeting called by the speaker said Baja was not happy seeing the number of lawmakers in attendance, and he think he has sensed danger as an experienced politician that his preferred candidate won't fly. And also it said the minority caucus has been meeting lately, and they shall make their stand known. Meanwhile, some members of the minority caucus of the opposition party yesterday agreed to support the candidacy of APC preferred Abbas and Kalu for speaker and the deputy speakership position of the 10th National Assembly. So, of course, there's still arguments going on in APC regarding this. Some are for, this appointment, while some are against it. But we hope they are able to come to their decision soon. Now let's move on and talk about what the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Sultan of Sokoto said. The second Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sahad Abubakar III, Christian Association of Nigeria, that's CAN, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation SGF, yesterday emphasized the crucial role of the media in nation building and the promotion of peace and unity in the country. The made the observation at the 2023 second quarter meeting of the Nigerian Interreligious Council held in Abuja yesterday with the theme, The Media and Effective Leadership for Nation Building. Speaking at the event, the Sultan of Sokoto lauded the media for its ability to avert crises and wars through responsible reporting. He urged media practitioners to prioritize objective and accuracy in their reportage, stating that they have a responsibility to promote peace and unity in Nigeria. Meanwhile,